What is love? They betrayed him with a kiss. When you know it's many targets and it's plenty that you miss. He shed his blood for people, want him dead, no exist. When he try to come embrace him, but they only can resist. This the truth about us, man, it is what it is. Wicked in our nature, rather die, don't wanna live. Unless it's up to us, and we choose the way we live. Unless it's up to us, and we choose the way we live. Oh, but have mercy on us. 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 Yeah, yeah. Oh, but have mercy on us. Yeah, yeah. Oh, but have mercy on us. Oh, but have mercy on us. Oh, but have mercy on us. I look in the mirror and I see a broken man. Something that I learned about that part that's for advance. Yes, I know it's hard. Look, I know that it ain't easy, yeah. But when you feeling weak, he said, call me when you need me. The thing I'm talking about is called healing. Healing's way deeper than a feeling. The type of healing that'll have you kneeling. The type of healing that'll bring you real need. But even if you're broken, gotta keep on going. He said you're a temple, keep that altar smoking. Even if you're broken, gotta keep on going. He said you're a temple, keep that altar smoking. Even when you're broken, gotta keep on going. He said you're a temple, keep that altar smoking. But even if you're broken, gotta keep on going. He said you're a temple, keep that altar smoking. Oh, but have mercy on us. Oh, but have mercy on us. Oh, but have mercy on us. Have mercy. Oh, but have mercy on us. Have mercy. Oh, but have mercy on us. Yeah. Oh, but have mercy on us. Oh, but have mercy on us. Oh, but have mercy on us. All of these mistakes that I made before your face, then boasting in our flesh, but our spirit looking wasted. Mouth full of bitter, wicked things, can't you taste it? Wanna be better, but can you help us break it? You're wretched people with some evil ways, hopeless first until you come and save. In darkness we was born as a slave. We call on you who wrote through all the age. Have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. We know. Have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. We don't deserve your mercy. We don't deserve your mercy. Have mercy on me. But I don't deserve his mercy. Have mercy on his mercy. Have mercy on his mercy. Have mercy on us. Yeah, have mercy on us. What is love? They betrayed him with a kiss. When you know it's many targets and it's plenty that you miss. He shed his blood for people, want him dead, no exist. When he try to come embrace him, but they only can resist. This the truth about us, man, it is what it is. Wicked in our nature, rather die, don't wanna live. Unless it's up to us, and we choose the way we live. Unless it's up to us, and we choose the way we live. Oh, but have mercy on us. 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 Yeah, yeah. Oh, but have mercy on us. Yeah, yeah. Oh, but have mercy on us. Oh, but have mercy on us. Oh, but have mercy on us. Look up in the mirror and I see a broken man. Something that I learned about that part that's for advance. Yes, I know it's hard. Look, I know that it ain't easy yet, but when you feeling weak, he said, call me when you need me. The thing I'm talking about is called healing. Healing's way deeper than a feeling. The type of healing that'll have you kneeling. The type of healing that'll bring you real need. But even if you're broken, gotta keep on going. He sent you a temple, keep that altar smoking. Even if you're broken, gotta keep on going. He sent you a temple, keep that altar smoking. Even if you're broken, gotta keep on going. He sent you a temple, keep that altar smoking. Even if you're broken, gotta keep on going. He sent you a temple, keep that altar smoking. Have mercy on us. Mercy on us.
Total Rabbi Yahuwah for your mercy. Total Rabbi for your mercy, Father. Total Rabbi for your hesed. Total Rabbi for your rakam, Yahuwah. Total Rabbi Yahuwah for your mercy. For you show mercy to Israel and kindness to Yaakov. Total Rabbi Yahuwah. So through, Father. Total Rabbi Yahuwah. You're wonderful, worthy to be praised. Total Rabbi Yahusha. You are my strength, my song, my salvation. You are my king, Father. You are Melech Kabod, Melech HaOlam. You are king of the universe. And we baruch your name, Father. We bless your holy name, Total Rabbi Yahusha. Oh, how wonderful are your ways, Father. How wonderful are your Kodesh ways, Yahuwah. Oh, how amazing is the sum of your holy ways, Adonai Yahusha. Total Rabbi, Father. Total Rabbi, Father. For you are wonderful. Oh, worthy to be praised, O Most High. You are so through to us, Father. You so through to your people, Yahuwah. Total Rabbi Yahusha. For you are wonderful and worthy to be praised, and we love you, Father. We extol you and esteem you, Father. We give you the kavod, the honor, the esteem, the praise, the worship, Father. The adoration out of me. We love you, Yahuwah. Total Rabbi, Father. Total Rabbi, Yahuwah. You're wonderful and worthy to be praised, O Most High. We baruch your name out of me. We praise your Kodesh name, Father. Total Rabbi for your Ruach, Yahuwah. Total Rabbi for your Ruach HaKodesh, Father. Total Rabbi for your presence, Adonai. For who is like you, Father, among the Elohim, who is like you? Oh, there was no one like you, Yahuwah. For you are our strength. You are our king. You are Melech Kabod, Melech HaOlam. You are king of the universe. You are the king of Yasharal. Oh, Father, you are in control and sovereign. You are a ruler. Oh, Total Rabbi, Yahuwah. Oh, Father, for you rule over us, oh, Yahuwah. Oh, rule over us, Father. Rain down on us your blessings, Adonai. Rain down on us, oh Most High, the fullness of your Ruach, Father. Oh, rain down on us, Adonai, Father, the richness of your revelation, Yahuwah. Total Rabbi for another MIDRASH, Father. Total Rabbi, Yahuwah, for blessing us with another MIDRASH, Yahuwah. Total Rabbi, Father, for everything you show us and reveal to us through these MIDRASHs, Adonai. I pray that you baruch this MIDRASH, Father. You bless this MIDRASH, that everything that you want to come out, that it may come out. That everything that you want to be stated, that it may be stated, Father. That everything that you want to be revealed, that it may be revealed, Abba. Oh, Yahuwah, may everything that you want to be revealed, Father. Oh, guide us, Yahuwah. Keep us, Father. Baruch us, strengthen us, Yahuwah. Guide our steps, Father. Let your word be a light to our feet, a lamp to our path, Father. Showing us the way to go, Father, so we'll see where to go. We'll see the direction to turn, Father, and when to go straight and when to stand still and when to move forward, Yahuwah. Oh, Abba. Oh, continue to guide us, Father. We pray for supernatural guidance, Yahuwah, in these last days, Yahuwah. Supernatural guidance from you, Adonai Yahusha, in these last days, Father. Oh, Father, continue to baruch the Mishwakah. Oh, Most High, baruch your people, Yahuwah, for their obedience, Yahuwah. Baruch your people for their obedience, Adonai Yahusha. For there's no one like you, Father. Total Rabbi Yahuwah. Total Rabbi Yahuwah. Father, I pray that you baruch this MIDRASH, Abba. Baruch this MIDRASH, Yahuwah. That everything that you want to come out may come out. And that everything that you want to be stated, that it may be stated, Father. Oh, Yahuwah, I pray that you cause these teachings to drop down like rain on fertile soil, Father. That everything that you want to be brought out may be brought out. And that everything you want to be stated, Yahuwah, that it may be stated. I pray for focus and clarity, Father. Give us eyes to see and ears to hear, Adonai Yahusha. Give us the focus, Father. Give us eyes to see and ears to hear everything that you want to convey to us through this MIDRASH, Abba. Baruch us, Father, that we be able to receive what you want us to receive, Father. Baruch your people, Abba. That we won't be distracted, Father, but that we will heed you, Father. that we will hear and do, that we will shema you, Saba. Oh, may it be so and may it be established in Yahushua's name. Hallelujah.
Boasting in our flesh, but our spirit looking wasted. Mouth full of bitter, wicked things, can't you taste it? Wanna be better, Abba, can you help us break it?
Kendrick Lamar Richardson, shalom, shalom. Anala Yahoo, Yetzar, shalom, shalom, y'all. Bakir Yakum, Yamin, Yah, Bakir Ezra, Uriah, shalom, and Hudim, y'all. Beth Seda, shalom, Barakot. Immunah, shalom, Barakot. Bakir Aluf Yubal, shalom, shalom. Yuri El, shalom, shalom. Yirmiyahu and Shama Yahu, shalom, Barakot, y'all. Ari Moshe Israel, shalom, shalom. Ebony Nicholson, shalom and blessings. Shishon Yahoo, shalom and barakot to you. Q Marie, shalom and blessings. Shimshon and Hulda, shalom, shalom. Imayasha Yahoo, shalom Hudim. Shamar and Shakar, shalom, shalom, y'all. All praise to the Most High. Let's get it in. All right, y'all. Shalom, shalom. What's going on? This is your Asaph Yahoo coming out of the Austin Assembly. Welcome to the MIDRASH podcast. All praise to the Most High. I want to give an Olam Hudim to Yahuwah and Yahusha. Olam Hudim, lo Yahuwah, lo Yahusha HaMashiach. I want to give an I am Mispar Hudim, la Melech Musha, la Melech Yahusha. Kefel Hudim, la Malka Chayil, la Malka Yada. Kefel Hudim, la Roshaluf Yitro, la Rosha'atz, Yeshayahu. Kefel Hudim, la Hagabira Malaka Deborah, la Gabira Ot. Kefel Hudim, la Ha'alufim, la Ha'ima Kefel Hudim, la Gabira Ot. Kefel Hudim, la Ha'mushalim, la Ha'mushala Ot. Kefel Hudim. Oh yeah, oh bad. That's my bad. I didn't see that. Definitely, if your dad said it's through, you can do that. Kefel Hudim, la Hamushalim, la Hamushala Oats. I want to give a special Kefel Hudim, la Ishti, Amet Yahu, told out to Yahuwah and Yahusha for her. All praise to the Most High. Told out to Yahuwah and Yahusha for her. Hudim, to all the rest of the leaders. To the Sarar Ubakir Sarganim, to the Sarar Ubakir Ezerot, to the Sarar Ubakir Yakum Yamin, and the Yakumah, Hudim, to the Alufim and Imayot, Hudim, La Asat Yasim, Hudim, to all the leadership. All praise to the Most High. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get it in. Let me see. We got Bakir Aloof in here. All praise to the Most High. I don't see Sargon. Let me see here. Bakir Sargon and them. Make sure everybody got the memo. All right. All right, all right. We're going to do what it do. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. We're going to do chapters 10 and 11 today. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll go from there. Cody Wansina, shalom and blessings to you. Naila Harris, shalom, shalom. Brittany Brown, shalom and barakot to you. Let's see here. Pull up the scriptures. All right, looks like we getting this ball rolling. All right, there go my scriptures. We're going to do chapters 10 and 11. Let's see here. All right, is that the whole screen? Yeah. All right, we almost ready, y'all. A little bit of a delay here. Share the screen. All right, we in there. All right, Bakir Loof. Let's see here. Proverbs. Chapter 10. All right. Let's go ahead and get it.
Sir, Fed Houdin, Musha, and Houdin, where's due? Shalom Aleichem to Mishpachah, 100-fold family. Okay, we start with Proverbs 10. Starting from verse 1. Here we go. A wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is the grief of his mother.
Started from the very beginning, very beginning.
Okay. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is the grief of his mother. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivers from death. Yahuwah will not allow the righteous soul to famish, but he casts away the desire of the wicked. He who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. He who gathers in summer is a wise son. He who sleeps in harvest is a son who causes shame. Blessings are on the head of the righteous, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. The memory of the righteous is blessed, but the name of the wicked will rot. The wise heart will receive commands, but a prating fool will fall. He who walks with integrity walks securely, but he who perverts his ways will become known. He who winks with the eye causes trouble, but a prating fool will fall. The mouth of the righteous is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all sins. Wisdom is found on the lips of him who has understanding, but a rod is for the back of him who is devoid of understanding. Wise people store up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty.
Touch my nose.
The destruction of the poor is their poverty. The labor of righteous leads to life. The wages of the wicked to sin. He who keeps instruction is in the way of life, but he who refuses correction goes astray.
Read verse 16 one more time.
The labor of the righteous leads to life, the wages of the wicked to sin. He who keeps instruction is in the way of life, but he who refuses correction goes astray. Whoever hides hatred has lying lips, and whoever spreads slander is a fool. In the multitudes of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver. The heart of the wicked is worth little. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for lack of wisdom. The blessings of Yahuwah make one rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. To do evil is like sport to a fool, but a man of understanding has wisdom. The fear of the wicked will come upon him, and the desire of the righteous will be granted. When the whirlwind passes by, the wicked is no more, but the righteous has an everlasting foundation. As vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so is a lazy man to those who send him. The fear of Yahuwah prolongs days, but the years of the wicked will be shortened. The hope of the righteous will be gladness, but the expectation of the wicked will perish. The way of Yahuwah is strength for the upright, but destruction will come to the workers of iniquity. The righteous will never be removed, but the wicked will not inhabit the eretz. The mouth of the righteous brings forth wisdom, but the perverse tongue will be cut out. The lips of righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked, what is perverse. Chapter 11.
We'll stop here for now, and then we'll go to chapter 11 next. And we're going to do a little different. We're going to go ahead and go through chapter 10, and then we'll carry on with chapter 11. So if you have anything, we'll let you go first. Bakir Loof, if you have anything that stood out to you on chapter 10.
There's a lot of stuff in here. It's jam-packed. It's kind of, self-explanatory. I guess the main thing that jumps out to me is the integrity of the upright will guide them. Your integrity will take you a long way if you let it guide you, and when you're not doing that, you're gonna go astray. You could be going, you're gonna do something stupid. Another thing that stood out to me about the riches, the riches, people put their faith in riches sometimes, all these billionaires in control of, of the politics right now, they kind of trying to buy the White House, and they putting all their trust in their money, but, it says, it's not going to happen, the expectation will perish, It's wicked, to put your trust in filthy lucre, as it says in Matthew, I think. So much in here. The blessings of the upright, the city is exalted. The blessings of the upright, the city is exalted. So, when you got somebody that's exalted, that's upright, the city is exalted. When you got people that's wicked, the city is going to be overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. So that kind of stood out to me, too. Verse 13 kind of stood out to me, gossipers, talebearers reveal secrets, but the one who is faithful has a faithful spirit. They're going to conceal the matter, Verse 20 stood out to me, though, with a perverse heart. They're an abomination to Yahuwah. But the blameless in their ways are his delight, So we got to make sure that we're blameless We do everything, we're supposed to be doing, in this walk. That's about it right there. But I yield.
Con. All praise to the Most High. Yeah, it's a chapter 10. There was a lot of stuff in there. It goes on. We talked about Proverbs, that it's when you're looking at Proverbs, it's MISHLEI. It's basically parables, a book of parables. That's literally what MISHLEI means. At least one of the meanings. It's parables. Yahushua spoke in parables. That's what he did a lot of times, and we didn't realize that this literally is the whole book of parables. So when we look at it we look at the surface level, but there's multiple layers to this as well. And we'll always try to look at it from that perspective. Try to look at as many layers as I can. But it says a wise son makes a glad father. It starts off in verse 1. A wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is the grief of his mother. So when you think about wisdom, chachma, that's about fearing Yahuwah. Remember, it says the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. So when we look at wisdom in the scriptures, it really boils down to someone who's submitted to Yahuwah and Yahushua and keeps his commandments and really diligently keeps his laws. That's a wise man, because the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. And someone who does that consistently over time Yahuwah's gonna give them wisdom. You're gonna start noticing they're gonna start having different levels of wisdom. So basically, it's about having a son who serves Yahuwah. I submit. It talks about having a wise son makes a glad father. It's about a son who serves Yahuwah, and you'll start seeing him get this wisdom. I've seen it with my own sons, and with some of the with the sons in the tribe, how the Most High starts giving them wisdom, starts giving them revelation and things like that as they serve Him. But a foolish son is the grief of his mother. And so, man, that's pretty self-explanatory, like Bakir Luke was saying. Like, being foolish is basically, we got to look at it from a biblical perspective. It's somebody who don't keep the commandments, but they do it on purpose, Let's see what that word is. That word is, conceal. Foolish, stupid, simpleton, an arrogant one. Interesting. Yeah. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivers from death. So, treasures of wickedness profit nothing. So what I take from that is just the concept that all money isn't through money. But also the things that the wicked treasure, also the things that the wicked value, is usually useless. They usually don't really profit much. It says, but righteousness delivers from death. Because the wicked don't treasure what righteousness. They don't look at righteousness as a treasure. They don't value righteousness. Wicked people do not value righteousness. You see what I'm saying? Let me see who this is that entered into the waiting room. Bakir Sargon might need you to go on. I don't know who this is, so I ain't gonna let you in. Let me go in and put some stuff in place here. Make sure. Oh, you already did? Oh, okay. All praise to the Most High. I don't know who that is though. You're gonna have to stay in the waiting room. I ain't taking no chances. Basically it says the treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivers from death. So I remember like Yahusha was talking about this, how like, oh man, I was just talking about this earlier as well with someone else about the concept of reaping and sowing. That when you do righteous things, righteous acts, you're gonna sow that, even when the righteous acts don't seem like it's being as effective as you thought it should. You're gonna reap some sort of benefit, some sort of reward from it that may be unrelated to what you were specifically doing. So it says here that righteousness delivers from death. That it delivers from death, and it goes into how Yahuwah will not allow the righteous soul to famish, but he casts away the desires of the wicked. So right after the, verse 2, it goes into how Yahuwah will not allow the righteous soul to famish. And so that could be related to how the righteous are delivered from death. How righteousness can deliver from death. Because you've been righteous and you've been faithful to the Most High, you can get delivered from a situation. You can get delivered from a situation that has your soul famished. Why? And it was because of your consistency of righteousness and your righteous deeds and your actions that you have been doing over time. And that made the difference between you being able to be delivered or not. Even deliverance, when people have gone through deliverance, a lot of that is based off of, work you've been doing. Even those people that were delivered in the scriptures, when you read about these people that got delivered from demons and delivered from unclean spirits all throughout the scriptures. Let me see something here. When you read about the different people who were delivered in the scriptures, who Yahushua and the apostles that were going out, they were casting out demons. They were casting out these ruachs. They were going and they were doing all these different things like that. And I submit a lot of those people that Yahuwah was delivering through Yahusha and the apostles, that these weren't just random people. Like, these weren't people who were like steeped in iniquity. Like, these were people who loved Yahuwah, y'all, who were in bondage. Like, I really believe these were people who loved Yahuwah, but they were just in bondage. You see what I'm saying? These were people who already were seeking Yahuwah before the appointed time came for their deliverance. These were people who already were seeking Yahuwah. These weren't people like... That's why you ain't really hear a whole lot about like Pharisees getting deliverance. When you read the Brit Hadashah, and the apostles was going out from city to city, they were delivering people, they were healing them, they were doing all these things, and you notice that you ain't really hear too much about them like going and healing a Sadducee. Was there any time, any instance where any of the Sadducees got delivered? And they were full of demons. They were full of ruachs, man. But did we hear any time where maybe one of the Sadducees got got deliverance from one of the apostles, or you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to remember any instance where any of the Pharisees even went through deliverance. I can't think of none right now. But if it was very rare. But I can't think of any right now. I'm just trying to think. 'Cause I know there was a couple of through Pharisees. You had Nicodemus, I believe, was all right. And y'all know Shaul ended up being a Pharisee. I guess you could say he went through deliverance. He went through healing. I guess you can say him. But he wasn't a Pharisee no more after that. And that was after he had basically left being a Pharisee. So I say all that to say that it's the righteous deeds. It's the righteousness that delivers from death. Righteousness delivers from death. Verse 2. Like who will not allow the righteous soul to famish. And I know when we think of famishing, we're thinking about physically like starving or, physically, like thirsting, like dying of thirst, like the soul to famish from lack of water or food. But we got to look at this in other ways too. That ruachally, our soul longs for Yahuwah and Yahusha and his word and the bread of his word and the revelation. And that if you seek him, you will find him, and that your righteousness. Because remember, this is talking about wisdom, or is the context of this passage. All throughout Proverbs, it goes into wisdom, which is about revelation and understanding and things that's received from those who submitted to Yahuwah, who keep the commandments. You see what I'm saying? And so it's your righteousness, your righteous deeds, you seeking Yahuwah, you keeping his commandments that delivers from death, that delivers from Sheol, y'all, that causes you to be able to get delivered from the stuff that has you in bondage. That's exactly why you don't go and just go to somebody random because they have a bunch of demons and then try to bring them through deliverance. They ain't trying to serve Yahuwah. They ain't keeping no commandments. They ain't trying, you know what I'm saying? They don't care nothing about the Most High. They may be into witchcraft and all kind of stuff. And you're like, yeah, let me deliver them. It don't work like that. That ain't the best thing to do. Now I know there is one instance where you had that lady that was yelling at Paul. That lady was yelling at Paul. She was saying, he's of the Most High or something. She was yelling at him, and Paul did get, the scriptures do say he got annoyed and casted the ruach out of her. But generally speaking, for the most part, when they were doing deliverance, they were dealing with people who were serving the Most High. They are people who already believed and were serving the Most High. People who already were faithful. Verse 4 says, he who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent make rich. And that just goes into, being not being lazy, basically. It's the best way to put it. Being diligent. Being diligent about your actions. It says the hands of the diligent make rich. He who gathers in the summer is a wise son. He who sleeps in harvest is a son who causes shame. There it goes about that sleep. Taking naps in the middle of the day. He who sleeps in harvest is a son who causes shame. Man, when you have sons, they supposed to be grinders. They supposed to be hustlers in the sense of when it comes to doing the work. But remember, gathering is also about being gatherers, being reapers. Going before Yahuwah and bringing him the harvest. So gathering is about specifically gathering the harvest of the crops, but it's also about gathering the harvest of the word, going out doing your studying. Because of the bread of the word, just like they went out and gathered the manna in the wilderness, which represented the bread of the word. But he who sleeps in harvest is a son who causes shame. Those who are going out and gathering in the summer, they're wise. Why are they wise? You're going out and you're gathering. In other words, you're studying. You're gathering the bread of the word. You're going out day by day and you're studying. And y'all know the summertime, that's the time of the counting of the Omer, roughly. That's the time that leads up to Shavuot, the time that we're in right now. The time of the counting of the Omer. The Omer is literally grain, and it's the way that you weigh grain, wheat, stuff like that, barley. It's about the gathering of the harvest, y'all, the counting of the Omer. But what are we doing during the counting of the Omer? Many times it surrounds around us, gathering the word, the revelation of the Most High. This is many times the time of revelation. We're almost done with the counting of the Omer this year. This is many times a time of so much revelation that came out this year. So much, y'all. But it comes to those who seek him, who are seeking and going out and doing the work to gather the word. My son, Zerayahu, he did his bar mitzvah this past Shabbat. All praise to the Most High. But all throughout the counting of the Omer, he was going out and really, studying the word, seeking the word. I wonder if the Most High drove him to do that because of the time we're in. And being a counting of the Omer. I think that's pretty interesting. Well, I just thought about that. Gathering the bread of the word, seeking it out so that you can consume it, so that the word will be in you. And he who does that is a wise son, it says in verse 5. What does that mean? Because he who studies Torah, he who studies the commandments, who keeps the commandments, they're going to get, that's how you're going to get wisdom, y'all. That's how you're going to get wisdom. You see what I'm saying? He who sleeps in the harvest is a son who causes shame. You could be studying. You could be actually, working towards something. You can be learning something. You can be, y'all ain't seen those sons who all they spare time is they just playing video games. Or all their spare time they use to just do something it has no value. It adds no value. And just wasting time. You might as well be sleeping. I submit that's sleeping too. And not praying. At the prayer times, everybody's praying. But then you got this one. He's always on his phone. Scrolling through the timeline, scrolling through Facebook, social media, scrolling through Instagram. Always on the video game. Never really seen him doing no kind of gathering of the harvest. That can bring shame. That can cause shame. Blessings are on the head of the righteous, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. You can tell a lot by what comes out of the mouth of people. The memory of the righteous is blessed, but the name of the wicked will rot. The wise in heart will receive commands, but a prating fool will fall. A prating fool. What does that mean? Prating. That's sapah. Lip, language, speech. Language, edge, shore, bank. That's interesting. Like the bank of a river or a sea. So it's primarily translated as lip. But a lip fool will fall? Maybe somebody who's just mouthy. The wise in heart will receive commands. Maybe an edgy person. I don't know. Y'all let me know if y'all got more understanding on what that's trying to say or what that's really saying. Let's see. It says to talk vain words. Maybe have something to do with that. Someone who just speaks loosely. The wise in heart will receive commands, but a prating fool will fall. Maybe somebody who just speaks very loosely, speaks in vain. And that's mitzvah, commands, or commandments. It's primarily translated as commandments. So another way you can look at this is that the wise in heart will receive the commandments, y'all. But a prating fool will fall. He who walks with integrity walks securely. Now that makes sense. And that's the word tom. He who walks uprightly or with integrity. He who walks without spot and blemish, meaning they're blameless. He who walks with integrity walks securely. But he who perverts his ways will become known. So, y'all know when somebody know they doing something wrong or know they be cheating and moving wrong, they always gonna be, they always are gonna be they're always gonna be, what's the word I'm looking for, like scared, but it's another word I'm looking for. Paranoid. Told Shia. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. They always gonna be paranoid. They always gonna think, maybe somebody done figured them out. Oh, maybe they might get caught. They're always gonna, man, when somebody is walking in a way that's crooked, that's not upright, that's not with integrity, there's always gonna be this paranoia. There's always this fear that their ways will become known. And a lot of times there'll be a whole lot of projecting going on as well. A whole lot of projecting. He who walks with integrity walks securely, though. Somebody who know they ain't do nothing, who's walking blameless, it's a lot of shalom in that. When you know you ain't done nothing wrong, when you know you've been doing what you're supposed to do, it ain't nothing that's more in shalom than that, in a sense. Like you ain't worried about nobody. You secured in yourself. But I'm telling y'all, a lot of the most insecure people out there, a lot of times is because they done stuff. It's because they know that they're guilty of something. They know they're guilty of something. I used to never suspicious. That's a through word, Chepsiba. Like, I know in the tribe, I started to realize that in the tribe a lot of times because there would be people who would just always have this fear that the Most High was going to judge them, the Most High was going to do something to them. We had people in the tribe that was kind of like that, and I would wonder why. Like, if you're not doing nothing, why you feel like the Most High is mad at you? Why you feel like you're going to be judged or something like that if you know You're not doing nothing. But the reason why is because they know that they have been doing stuff. That's why. They just not telling you everything. They just want to, communicate that the fear they have of, just being cut off and things like that, and all those things like that. But it's really because you've been doing stuff in the secret, and you have. You just they want to bring that part out about it. It's called a guilty conscience. It's called having a guilty conscience. Like I think somebody mentioned that earlier. You have a guilty conscience. That's why you keep having this fear that the Most High is gonna cut you off and things like that. It's better to, because the thing is when you're moving in integrity and you're moving in a way that's blameless, you're secure. You're not worried. You're gonna be secure. You're not gonna be worried about like the Most High cutting you off or nothing like that. Like Moshe wasn't worried about the Most High cutting him off. You know what I'm saying? Yahushua son of Nun wasn't worried about the Most High coming and judging him and cutting him off. The apostles wasn't worried about that. The Thub apostles. I'm not talking about Judas, but the Thub ones like Kepha, or for the most part, I know he wasn't perfect, but Kepha, Yakanan, etc., etc. They wasn't walking around thinking the Most High was going to judge them. Why? Because they were, for the most part, walking tamim. They were blameless. They were walking with integrity of heart. So if you're one of those who, if you're always fearful, it's like a consistency that you're fearful, that you're, doing something wrong against the Most High, that he's going to come and judge you and cut you off, things like that. What you got to ask yourself is there something that you're doing that's causing you to feel that way? Because usually that's the case. Usually it's somewhere in there you're just not blameless at. There's a place where you are not upright at in your life, and that's why you're scared. That's why you had that fear. You're not fully upright. You're not fully tamim without spot or blemish. Because when you are, you're gonna walk with it. You're gonna walk securely. There's gonna be a different level of security you'll have in Yahuwah and Yahusha. And so if that's the case, and now you're realizing, okay, it's because I have spots. I'm not walking with integrity, meaning Tom. I'm not walking tamim. So you gotta find where the spots is at, so you can work on that and get that through. Figure out where they're at. What the spots are, what the blemishes are. So you can seek Yahuwah on it and be healed. Because walking around being scared and fearful that you're going to be judged, it's not going to really help that much if you haven't worked on getting healed in the places that need to be healed, if you haven't worked on getting those blemishes taken care of. The mouth of the righteous is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. Man, the mouth of the righteous is a well of life. Like, man, when you receive wisdom from a righteous person, the words will bring life. The words will bring revelation. The words will cause you to leave a little bit better that day or at that time frame. But violence covers the mouth of the wicked. I submit it just means that the mouth of the wicked is like covered with violence. It's like draped in violence. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all sins. So this goes back to what up further when it talks about how righteousness can deliver from Sheol, and love can cover sins, y'all. That's huge. That may even have the connotation of atone for sins, but let me see that Hebrew word. No, that's kasah. It literally means to cover or conceal. Because love it goes back to covering people, to doing for people, to blessing people. Wisdom is found on the lips of him who has understanding, but a rod is for the back of him who is devoid of understanding. Man, that's the rod of correction. That's the rod of correction. Wise people store up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, the destruction of the poor, their poverty. Yeah, it kind of makes me want to dig deeper on what that really means. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. The labor of the righteous leads to life. The wages of the wicked to sin, or leads to sin. He who keeps instruction is in the way of life, but he who refuses correction goes astray. And we talked about that as far as the importance of being able to receive words and receive instruction. Whoever hides hatred has lying lips, and whoever spreads slander is a fool. Man. In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise. That's a big one, y'all. That's a big one. Sometimes it's just best to hold your tongue. That's wisdom. Especially when you're full of emotion and you're trying to get your point across. Sometimes, like, it's best to hold your tongue. I'm telling you, to be able to bridle the tongue, to be able to have self-control, to where you have control over your words, to where you don't get emotional and over-talk people. Oh, especially in marriages, that's big. You definitely see that in marriages, where, a husband and wife are together, and let's say the wife is trying to just really get the point across, feel like the husband not getting it, and will keep, trying, and the intentions may not be bad intentions, but it's using like a multitude of words to try to get the point across. And then when the husband is not receiving it, it's this level of disappointment, and a lot of times it causes more strife, it causes more issues than if you would have just held your tongue. Be able to discern when, okay, you know what, this ain't the right time to really do a whole lot of talking. I'm going to hold my tongue. I'm going to just go pray. Because in the multitude of words, sin is not lacking. You can cause each other to sin just from not being able to hold your tongue. I remember when I first came into this walk, man, I had to learn that. I was trying to tell everybody everything. I was going to Christians. I was in these little Christian circles trying to tell them about this truth, how they need to keep the commandments, serve Yahuwah. And, I was always posting stuff all the time about how we the children of Israel, how we need to, repent and turn and keep the commandments. They'll be doing a Sunday service and going, I'll be all over that. Why y'all doing Sunday service? They ain't even in the scriptures. The scriptures say we're supposed to do Shabbat. Doing all that and just going on and on, man. Them people got so angry at me. Man, them people called me every name in the book. Them people saying I was man, you let them tell it, boy, I was evil, wicked. I was of the seed of the fallen. You let them tell it, boy. I mean, they told me up. To the point where, I was voted out. I was removed. They said I was racist, I was evil, I had this race baiting doctrine. Oh my goodness, they was going in. And you know what I was trying to do? I would always try to over explain myself. Like, nah, I ain't trying to do that. I ain't on no race stuff or nothing like that. This ain't really about race, it's about bloodline. I'll be trying to explain all that, y'all. Listen. It was nothing I could say. I should have held my tongue like months ago. There was nothing I was going to be able to say. And it was like the Most High was showing me. Because I'm like, man, it's right here in the scriptures. I'm like, surely they'll be able to see it. They'll be able to understand it once I show them. I'm posting different scriptures. I'm doing all this. It didn't do them nothing but make them more and more angry. To where personal shots was taken. They coming for me, coming for my character. Everything. Till finally, got removed from their little circle. But I just say that to say that was a situation where I should have had held my tongue a long time ago. It was way too many words. It was the same thing with my family. My parents, I was going real hard. I was going real hard. My family in the beginning, trying to bring all that stuff out to them. I wasn't doing nothing but making them angry. Y'all shouldn't be eating that pork. Y'all shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be doing it at Christmas, It's through to bring it out, though. It's through, you want to share it, but you got to leave it at that, though. That's where the wisdom come into play. You got to learn to be able to, if there's something to say, to bring it out, and then hold your shalom. If they receive it, they receive it. If they don't, man, you brought it out. In marriages, especially wives, because I know it's in y'all to really try to talk your way through different situations with your husbands. It's not like that with everybody, but with a lot of marriages, it's the wives that really, are about trying to talk through everything. But a lot of times men are not always trying to talk through everything. A lot of times, bring out what you're going to bring out, but you got to learn to leave it there. If he doesn't respond the way you think he should, that's not the green light for you to keep talking until he responds the way you think that he should. No, leave it there and then go pray if you feel like he wasn't receiving it the way that you thought he should. Because what happens is when you keep going, now it turns what was just a conversation, it can turn it into an argument. And it can cause strife, it can cause sin to be brought forth now. It can cause resentment. It don't add anything positive. That's where the wisdom got to come into play. To know when to hold your tongue, Mishpaka. Listen, some of y'all do too much on y'all social media. Some of that stuff y'all be putting on your social media probably would have been better for you to hold your tongue on that. It probably would have been, I guess your virtual tongue, I guess I should say. Some of that stuff, it probably would have been better not posting. Yeah. If you tired of folks get on your nerves, and you ain't taking no more from nobody, you know what? That probably wasn't something you should have posted on your Facebook or on your social media. You venting through your social media, and it can attract attention that you wasn't intending to attract. Venting about your husband on social media. Some stuff, it ain't for the public. You venting about your wife on social media. That's really, Look for some counsel. That's probably the best part. Or some people you can confide in. That's family. That's mishpaka. You venting about your spouse on social media, then everybody's going into your comments. Oh, what's wrong? You all right? Hey, call me. It's all through. Most of that be fake, y'all. Most of that don't be real. All them Facebook. You wanted a little attention, so you start venting about your problems on Facebook. All them comments that people say, oh, call me. It's, I'm here for you. Most of them comments be fake, y'all. It be people you don't ever even talk to in real life. They just your Facebook friends. Commenting, asking, what's wrong? What's going on? You all right? And you get a feeling from that. Because it like kind of fills a little void that you wanted for some attention. That stuff don't be real. Them people don't know you like that, and them people don't like you like that. The social media stuff be all facade. You might know about 5% of the people on your friends list. Everybody else, you don't know who them people is. So keep all that stuff in mind, y'all. Learn to have this is wisdom that gives you the understanding of when to say stuff and when not to. All right, y'all. Let's see. Yirmiyahu and Shemayahu.
Houdin, Michelle, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Give me 1 second here. Shalom, Kifaudin, can you hear me, Michelle?
Khan, you through? You loud and clear?
Yeah. Khan, so I was just wanting to mention something on. Let me know what it is on.
You might have to turn your speaker down if you have a speaker on.
Shalom, Kifaudin, can you hear me, Michelle?
Khan, you through? You loud and clear?
Yes. Sorry, I apologize for that, Michelle.
No problem. Well, I don't hear you now. I don't know if you trying
Okay, here I am.
Okay.
Here I am. I apologize for that. Khan, so just on Proverbs, I believe it was the first verse. I don't have it on me, but if you could put it on there, I believe it was where the mother, let me see here. Right, the foolish son and grief in his mother. You're just going to remind me of when we were just younger in foolishness and, running amok, running out there, not having any discipline, just walking in the world and stuff. And, putting our mothers through and fathers through through those challenges of worrying about us, being on the street and, knowing that we were up to no good, and putting them through that. And it's kind of, just brings me back to the suffering that they went through us and sleeping, and even they were praying for us and wanting us to to be safe and all. But that was just something that brought me back. Even now, just seeing that what Yahuwah has done, preserved us, from anything happening to us, and to redeem us, and like he says, like on verse 3, that he would not allow the righteous soul to famish, but he cast away the desire of the wicked. So that's where coming into the truth, waking you up, to his righteousness and delivering you from whatever was inside you. And at that point, we start to realize and see how through he is, and our desires no longer become those wicked things that we first went to and we desired, those fleshly desires of sin and willful sin. Now we look back and see that as like, wow, that's like came against Yahuwah, and that's just wickedness, what we were doing. Like, how can I just, how was I doing that? So now our desires don't become to be wicked, but to be righteous, and to see the righteous things of Yahuwah. And once you're walking in that, you start seeing what Yahuwah is doing in you, and the wisdom and understanding he gives you through the obedience and walking in his ways and stuff. And it's a beautiful thing to experience. And at the same time, just what you were just mentioning earlier, a lot of times too, we'll get attacked, our character will get attacked, and we know to hold our tongue and to be able to know that, if you're walking in righteousness, you're walking in Yahuwah's ways and in obedience, and you know that you're not walking in sin anymore, you're not walking in your old ways. And whatever situation might be, you're in shalom, and you're not stressed, and you're not worrying about what people think of you, what to say, because whatever they have in their mind about you, you can't debate, you can't change your mind, you got to let it be. And at the end of the day, Yahuwah will prove you and justify you because you've been obedient and you've been walking in righteousness. And at the end of the day, you don't have to prove it to Yahuwah, no matter what anybody tells you or says about you, because you know your walk and you've been through. And so that kind of just stood out with me as you were going on. Man, it just connected so much to a lot of what kind of has been happening with me. So praise Yahuwah and Yahusha for this, and I just want to chime in on that, but I yield. Shalom.
God, all praise to the Most High. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's dude. That is dude. Let's see here.
Connected so much to a lot of what comes in.
Let's see here. I see Bakir Sargon was clarifying. It says like one who talks a lot. Babbling. Okay, yeah, that was that word we was looking at. And then I see Bakir Ezra Hadassah told us, she put the definition for prate. It says to talk foolishly or at tedious length about something. Oh, okay. I heard him prate on for at least an hour and a half. Oh, okay. That's Stu told her. Prate as a verb. Okay. That makes sense. Yirmiyahu and Shemiyahu said to talk without wait to be on it for a long time according to Google prating. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Hezekiah said the people that rah or just talk about what they doing and not actually doing it could be the fool like the loud people, if that makes sense. Khan. Yeah, that makes sense. And then Sheer told us, y'all help me out with that with paranoid. Yirmiyahu and Shemiyahu brought out guilty conscience. Okay, that was you who brought up the guilty conscience word. Yeah, that's it. So especially when you're being attacked and being doubted on who you are in Yahuwah and think you are still the old self. You know you are through in Shalom and you don't stress on nothing because you know you're through. Yahuwah will fight for you and justify you. Praise Yahushua. Khan. That's it. That's it. And they said Proverbs 10:19 goes, Bakir Sargon said Proverbs 10:19 goes back to prate. See verse 19, it says, And the multitude of words of sin is not lacking. Yeah. But he who restrains his lips is wise. Yeah, that makes sense. Bakira Lou said, they are not rejecting you, they are rejecting Yahuwah, man. That's it. Yeah, y'all bringing it out. Kimberly Lamar Richardson said chapter 10 gives really through examples of reaping what you sow, especially since we're nearing harvest. If you sow the righteousness, you reap the reward of the righteous. That's it. Hallelujah. That's it. Shoshone Yahoo, she put in Psalm 34:18. It says, the Most High is near to those who have a broken heart and save such as have a contrite ruach. Man, that's it. Kimberly Lamar Richardson quoting Revelation 3:3. It says, remember therefore, if therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. That's it. That's it. And that's when Chepty Bob brought out suspicious as one of the words. Shahonda Johnson said they always have to look over their shoulder, regarding someone who's crooked and not upright. Mr. L.W. Ringo said those people seem to be afraid to read Revelation too. Yeah, be afraid of the Most High's judgment. Brittany Thetford said, what does it profit a man? That's Mark 8:36. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world yet forfeit his soul? Man. Cody Wansina quoting 1 Peter 4 verse 8. And above all things have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. Man, that's it. That's it. So that's 1 Peter's quoting that. Nathan Smith said, I can attest to that. A blizzard of words. Every Moshe Israel's agreeing. She said, I was just looking at that precept. Hallelujah. No, that's dude. That's dude. You know, because, I know that's a thing. Mr. L.W. Ringo said, parable of the rich man is connected to lack of charity toward precept, you shall not glean your field. Well, we had just covered that. Kimberly Lamar Richardson said, bullseye. That makes sense. That's actually pretty powerful. The Torah precept that talks about how you're supposed to leave the edges of the field for the poor and the stranger who within your gates, not to reap the edges of the field, but leave it for them. And yeah, maybe that has something to do with that. Connected to charity, how that covers a multitude of sins. All right, let's go on to chapter 11. Let's see, Bakir Sargon, did you have anything on chapter 10?
Shalom, Feludin. Hello, sir. I'm through. He was going in. There was a few verses I had highlighted, but you touched all of them. Nah, that was through.
All praise to the Most High. Yeah, it's a lot in chapter 10. There was some other stuff too. Like in verse 20, it talks about how the tongue of the righteous is choice silver. Man. But the heart of the wicked is worth nothing, worth little. I mean, it talks about how fools die for lack of wisdom. It said the lips of the righteous feed many. But fools die for lack of wisdom. And this goes back to how the words, through words, are like bread. This kind of confirms what I was saying. How through words like the Torah, gathering wisdom, gathering the righteous things of the word is like gathering a harvest, gathering grain. So it says the lips of the righteous feed many. Verse 25 was interesting when it says, when the whirlwind passes by, the wicked is no more. Now that's deep, y'all, because You know, you can the word tornado is not in the scriptures. I submit because generally, maybe not 100% of the time, but many times that word whirlwind is referring to tornadoes, y'all. It says when the whirlwind passes by, it may refer to it may can refer to hurricanes too, but it's like very, because it talks about certain, like Elijah went up in the whirlwind. It's probably not a hurricane. It's probably just straight tornado. But tornadoes and hurricanes are related to each other. That's why a lot of times in hurricanes, the tornadoes could happen. They're related to each other. But it says, but the righteous has an everlasting foundation. So this goes back to what Yahushua was saying about how the house that's built on the rock, the winds will come, the storms will be, but that house will stand because it was built on the rock. But the house that's built on the sand, the winds come, or the whirlwind, and that house will come crashing down. But the house that's built on a rock can the winds still go against it. The winds blow and all those things, but since the foundation is on the rock, that the house will stand. So why is this significant? Because one of the things about the righteous is that the righteous will endure, y'all. The righteous will be able to endure. They'll be able to endure to the end. The storms will come, which represents the trials, the tests. You know, the whirlwind represents trials, tests. People be having dreams of tornadoes. Some people, I think somebody reached out or sent something recently, a dream or a vision of a tornado. Man, that could mean all kind of stuff. Some sort of chaos, some sort of destruction, some sort of trial test, some sort of turmoil. But if your house is built on the foundation of the rock, if you're righteous and you built on the everlasting foundation of Yahuwah and Yahusha, you'll still be able to endure that. You'll still be standing once the storm passes by. But the wicked, they're always gonna fall when the trials come. The wicked, it's hard to tell the difference between those who are really, really righteous and those who are really wicked from the surface many times. But the way a lot of times the way you'll be able to discern one from the other is when the trials and the tests come, when the storms come. Oh no, the wicked gonna falter. They're gonna go. They're not gonna be able to withstand that. They're gonna delve into to sin and wickedness, some sort of sin. They're gonna steal, do whatever, do some sort of unrighteous. They're gonna falter when the storm comes. They'll hurry up and get the mark of the beast, whatever they need to do. But they won't be able to stand when the whirlwind passes by. But the righteous are an everlasting foundation. They have an everlasting foundation. Let's go to chapter 11. All right, Bakir Luke, let's do it.
All right, can you hear me?
Calm. Yes, sir.
Proverbs 11. Dishonest scales are an abomination to Yahuwah, but a just weight is his delight. When pride comes, then comes shame. But with the humble is wisdom. The integrity of the upright will guide them. But the perversity of the unfaithful will destroy them. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. The righteousness of the blameless will direct his way aright, but the wicked will fall by his own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright will deliver them, but the unfaithful will be caught by their lust. When a wicked man dies, his expectation will perish, and the hope of the upright, and the hope of the unjust perishes. The righteous is delivered from trouble, and it comes to the wicked instead. The hypocrite with his mouth destroys his neighbor, but through knowledge the righteous will be delivered. When it goes well with the righteous, the city rejoices, and when the wicked perish, there is jubilation. By the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. He who is devoid of wisdom despises his neighbor, but a man of understanding holds his peace. A talebearer reveals his secrets, but he who is of a faithful spirit, let me read that again, but he who is of a faithful spirit conceals a matter. Where there is no counsel, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. He who is surety for a stranger will suffer, but one who hates being surety is secure. A gracious woman retains honor, but ruthless men retain riches. The merciful man does good for his soul. The merciful man does good for his own soul, but he who is cruel troubles his own flesh. The wicked man does deceptive work, but he who sows righteousness will have a sure reward. As righteousness leads to life, so he who pursues evil pursues it to his own death. Those who are of a perverse heart are an abomination to Yahuwah, but the blameless in their ways are his delight. Though they join forces, the wicked will not go unpunished, but the posterity of the righteous will be delivered. As a ring of gold in a swine's snout, so is a lovely woman who lacks discretion. The desire of the righteous is only good. The desire of the righteous is only through, but the expectation of the wicked is wrath. There is one who scatters, yet increases more, and there is one who withholds more than is right, but it leads to poverty. The generous soul will be made rich, and he who waters will also be watered himself. The people will curse him who withholds grain, but blessings will be on the head of him who sells it. He who honestly seeks good finds favor, but trouble will come to him who seeks evil. He who trusts in his riches will fall, but the righteous will flourish like foliage. He who troubles his own house will inherit the wind, and the fool will be servant to the wise of heart. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he who wins souls is wise, and the righteous will be recompensed on their wrets. How much more the ungodly and the sinner? Hallelujah.
Come. Do you have anything on this chapter?
Yeah, let me see. Got a little something here. Let me see. Kind of reiterates, about the how righteousness delivers you from death. It goes back into when you got integrity. It's going to guide you. Verse 3: the integrity of the upright will guide them. So it kind of reiterates that again. It talks about riches again. It's not going to profit in the day of wrath. It's not going to do you any good, You got all these, billionaire people, running the country right now, and it's not going to profit them in the end because they're not right. They're not righteous. They're not thinking about the people. They're thinking about themselves. Let's see. The verse 8 kind of jumped out at me. The righteous is delivered from trouble. And it comes to the wicked instead. So that's big right there because, I did some wicked things when I was younger, but see, I turned around in my later years, I realized, hey, I ain't living right. The church wasn't doing it for me, so I know there had to be something else out there. So that's why I got into the truth, and he delivered me from a lot of stuff. I should have been dead and gone now, but through his mercy, man, and his grace, man, he delivered me from all that. So I'm still walking in this truth. Praise Yahuwah. Let's see. Man of understanding holds his peace. That's a good one right there. We got 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we're supposed to listen twice as much as we talk. It's kind of like a little saying. One of them sayings. Old school saying. You got 2 ears, you got 1 mouth, so you're supposed to listen twice as much as you talk. And it goes back into the tale bearers again, revealing secrets, it's not good, especially if somebody's confiding in you, and you're going to go and spill the beans on them, tell all their business, that's not due. Let's see. That's about it right there. That's about it. I'm going to yield on that. Let y'all take it. Hallelujah.
No, that's dude. Bakir Sargon, what about you?
Most definitely. No. I'm on my phone, man, so I'm switching back and forth. So, man, I'm gonna start at the top here. So I started verse 1. Dishonest scales are an abomination to Yahuwah, but a just weight is his delight. I'm gonna read through verse 3 though. When pride comes, then comes shame, but with the humble wisdom, the integrity of the upright will guide them, but the perversity of the unfaithful will destroy them. Man, I actually think all of these are connected, man. I think all of these are connected. So dishonest scales, to say that, let's say, for example, because everybody, growing up, I don't know about everybody else, but there was, you had a little hustle game going on, man. Had a little hustle game. And I think we got to be real careful about this, particularly when we're in the truth, because the Torah actually commands us to treat each other differently than we would treat the nations. So, for example, you could, we just covered this in the Torah portion. You could, from the nations, you could take a bondservant, somebody who was to serve you, basically a slave, not in the sense of necessarily chattel slavery, as we were here in the West, but you could take somebody who was to serve you, and that's be forever. But for your brother and sister, they were supposed to be hired servants. So you couldn't take them as a slave. And then the Torah would tell us that, man, you can't take them as a slave because all y'all belong to me. So when it comes to dishonest scales, you know how it was, man, or maybe it was just me, but in school, you go to the store, you buy your ramen noodle pack for 25 cents. Boy, I turn around school the next day and sell that for about 40 cents, 50 cents. That could be, that's what I'm saying, you got to be careful with it. That could be a form of dishonest scales. Because when you think about the ways that, scales work, older scales, you're thinking about like balances almost. You have one thing on the left side and you want it to be equal on the right. That's how you know that you have done the right thing. And it's interesting because that actually originated with in the Torah portion, when it says that it had to be, well, not the Torah portion, in the Torah in general, when it said it has to be the silver of the temple, what they would do is they would take the temple shekel, put it on one side, and then your silver had to align to that. That's how you knew that the money was balanced. But that goes down to verse 3, man. Actually, being Hadassah, we were with one of the daughters, and we went to Chipotle. And we had our meal, and then we had went back through the line to get some more food because we were going to bring food home for some of the mothers that were at the house. And what wound up happening is, we usually drink water when we go out, but I wanted some juice, right? So I went to the front and I asked the lady, "Hey, do you mind if I get some juice on the way out?" She said, "You are one of the most," what did she say? She said, "You're one of the most honest people," or something like that. But she was shocked that I would ask. Because, I didn't want to, have water and then not pay for the juice and then go get juice. That's something else. I know we be doing that. We used to do that. Hopefully we're not doing that no more. But again, that goes back to dishonest scales. But a just weight is his delight. So in verse 3, it says, the integrity of the upright will guide them. It kind of goes back to what you were saying last chapter, Mushaw, how it's about really just moving in integrity. And I remember getting in the truck and I was like, yeah, man, look, man, I'm not trying to go into a rare prayer and Yahuwah be like hey, come here, son. Let me talk to you about that juice you just took from the stove. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you just got to move in integrity of heart. That's a huge part of it. Because I'm telling you, what you brought out last chapter, that was critical. And you see a bit more of that here, but I'm gonna touch on a few more verses. So as you continue to read down, it's going to talk about the righteousness and how that is something that's going to guide you and that's going to lead you. Because righteousness, Sadak, this is somebody who keeps the ways of Yahuwah. So verse 5, the righteousness of the blameless will direct his way aright or make his way straight. But the wicked will fall by his own wickedness. There's a lot of verses that talk about how the righteous, we walk and we have a path of light, right? Your Torah is a light into my path and a lamp unto my feet. But then we'll read later how the wicked stumble in darkness and they don't even know what they're stumbling over. But when you are blameless, when you're walking upright in your heart, Yahuwah is going to direct your step. Now, what this doesn't mean is that you'll never offend the Most High or that you'll never fall. But the difference is you'll know Most High will guide you. He's going to say, hey, this is what you did wrong. This is where you messed up. So the righteous and those who move in integrity are going to want to turn from that. That's why it connects it to verse 6. It says the righteousness of the upright will deliver them. But the unfaithful will be caught by lust, by their lust. There's italicized there. But really just having integrity of heart and moving in righteousness, that's going to be the thing that delivers us, man. You mentioned the winds and the whirlwinds and the somewhat like tornadoes. Man, that's there's something with that. There's a few people I've talked to that's had these dreams and these visions of whirlwinds and tornadoes and destruction. That's actually what happened in the book of Job. Yahuwah came through and judged in the midst of a wind, in the midst of a whirlwind. We want to make sure that our integrity of heart is there, and then we are righteous, because that's what's going to deliver us. Yahuwah for us, what did you got to look at what Samuel said of Yahuwah when he went to find David, and he looked at all of David's older brothers. He said, man looks on the outside, but Yahuwah judges what's on the inside. That's a paraphrase. He ain't say it just like that, but it's just as a paraphrase. The integrity of our heart is something that it has the ability to preserve us. Being righteous, that's what powers us to do the righteous things. We do them because we fear Yahuwah. I think that was in the last chapter about, let me see real quick. Verse 27, the fear of Yahuwah prolongs days. This is chapter 10. The fear of Yahuwah prolongs days, but the years of the wicked will be shortened. I would submit because the righteous, they find their fear in Yahuwah. So we keep the statutes, the judgments, the laws, the Tanakh, the Torah. We keep those things because we fear Yahuwah. That even, man, that was just such a solid point you brought out about what was that word? Let me see. Yahoo said it in the chat. It was paranoid. Oh, that was Sheer, not Yahoo. Guilty conscious. And Hadassah brought that out. Yeah, those being paranoid, that was such a strong point. My bad, I swept over too far. But as long as you're walking upright, you're walking in righteousness, you have an expectation and a hope in Yahuwah. Let me keep going, though, because there's something else he says down here about hope I wanted to touch on. So, verse, just here. Oh, man, I skipped verse 4 and I have that highlighted. Let me go back up. So, Proverbs 11:4, riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. Bakir Lou touched on that. Man, that's the thing that we have to make sure that we store on the inside, that it's the righteousness that will deliver us. That just kind of goes into what I really believe chapter 11 to be calling out. Continuing down, looking at verse 7, it says, when a wicked man dies, his expectation will perish, and the hope of the unjust perishes. So I thought about that. I was like, man, what does that mean? Like his expectation will perish. Because when you think about somebody dying, right? A wicked man dying, any man that dies is not going to have a lot of expectation because he dead. What would he be desiring? But you see in verse 7, that word his is italicized. I think what this is really saying is that when a wicked man dies, expectation will perish and the hope of the unjust perishes, because wicked people get exalted. Not just in Babylon, I mean worldwide. When you're a wicked person, you're exalted, you're put in the limelight. When a wicked person dies, I think what happens is what people aspire to be, that begins to be shaken a little bit. The thing that they had that hope in, that begins to be shaken. Think about it. If you have, we've seen this happen, where you'll have a young, on the rise athlete, right? Fresh out of college, high draft pick, 23, 24, suffer an untimely death. I remember seeing that in my day growing up, and I was like, man, I don't know if all that worth it if you get to that level and then you die that early. Now, I'm not saying that of just sports, but really what I think this verse is saying is that if the hope is in something other than Yahuwah, if the hope is in something other than righteousness, it can be shaken when you see that. But, y'all let me know what y'all think on that. But I'm going to touch on just a few more. So I have here highlighted verse 10 and 11 of Proverbs 11. It says, when it goes well with the righteous, the city rejoices. And when the wicked perish, there is jubilation. By the blessings of the upright, the city is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. Man, my children, they do this thing, not as consistently because I ain't been checking here lately, but usually during their prayer time, I ask them to write one proverb, and I'm trying to teach them the art of meditation. So I say, write your proverb and then pray and meditate. Literally sit there and think and ask the Father, what does this proverb mean? I believe my oldest son, wrote this one, and we were talking through it, and it says, when it goes well with the righteous, the city rejoices. That is so true, y'all. That's the importance of having righteous leaders. Righteous leaders. We don't really have that experience in Babylon like that. We just don't, man. Like when you think about all the things that are hidden that come out years later, or even just the things that go on from a day to day, our minds are very disconnected from this. But man, when you have righteous leaders, and it can cause the entire assembly, the whole nation, the whole tribe to rejoice at the things that are happening. So when they begin to speak blessings, like in verse 11, it says that the city is exalted. It really does do away with a lot of the competition. It does away with a lot of the rebellious thoughts. When you have somebody who rules and you know that they're not there for themselves, but they're really there for the sake of the people because Yahuwah has appointed them there. That's something that just changes your perception. That's what Yahusha was. I think that this parable here could be talking about Yahusha, because remember, Yahusha tells this story. He tells it in another form of a parable later on. He'll say, man, there was a master who had this field, and he left the field to his servants. He said, hey, look, I'm going to go off to war. I'm going to go take these places, and then I'm going to come back. And y'all know the servants who the city was left to, the field was left to, he's like, man, we tired of serving him. We're not doing that no more. So he would send back servants, and they would beat the servants. He's like, there must be a mistake. So he sent back more servants. Then he sent his son, and they killed his son and cast him out the city. But at the end of that parable, you'll see, he'll say something like, there's at least 2 or 3 parables where he says this, but he'll say something like, bring those men out who didn't want me to rule over them and slaughter them here right before me. But then the other people who wanted to rule, like, for example, in the parable of the talent, he would baruch them and give them more. So I say all that to say that, man, I really think verse 10 and 11 may be dealing with Yahusha. And it may be dealing with our earthly leaders as well. Now, I ain't talking about the wicked leaders. I'm talking about the righteous leaders that we've been baruched with. So continuing on, looking at verse 12 here, it says, he who is devoid of wisdom despises his neighbor, but a man of understanding holds his shalom. Hey, man, you know what came to my mind? Sukkot. Man, we had a whole shalom. But, man, that was such a wise thing to do. If you're devoid of wisdom, you're going to be hateful towards your neighbor. Now, what I'm not saying is, we just out here, we just got to, love everybody, turn the other cheek to everybody in the world. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think there's wisdom in holding your shalom. This goes back to what Mushal was bringing out in chapter 10, how in the multitude of words, sin wants for nothing. If you can learn how to be a shalom internally, things won't affect your shalom externally. You know what I'm saying? This is something that Yahuwah showed me that I'm still harnessing, but I've come a long way with this. If you can learn to hold your shalom internally, meaning that when things rise up, it doesn't cause your soul to rise up. It don't cause you to lose control. It don't cause you to fly off at the mouth. You're not easily offended by things. If you can hold your shalom internally, you'll be able to hold your shalom. The things outside won't affect your shalom. So when people start saying things, or the neighbor might do X, Y, and Z, or especially in marriage. This is a thing in marriage, man. Like marriage, I'm telling you, that's why I was speechless last chapter. I had nothing to add, Musa. You was going in. I was like, nah, that's it. That was it. But especially in marriage, man, like in marriage is a battle of Aruka. It's a battle to see who can be restored at the right time. I've been married. Me and my I've been married almost 13 years now, and we're at a point now to where we can move at Aruka at the same time. But at the beginning, it was almost like all right, she has to go up so that I can ascend up. I have to go up so she can ascend up, and it was about who can be at shalom. When you're able to hold your tongue, if you're able to have your shalom on the inside, hold on to your shalom, it shows a level of understanding. And as you perfect having shalom on the inside of your soul, meaning that all the traumas, all the triggers, they're less. They may not be completely gone, but you've mastered your triggers. You can choose which emotion to act on. As you get to that, the things externally will hardly I don't want to say they'll hardly affect your shalom, but you can choose what begins to affect it. But that's, if you don't have wisdom, I'm going to read this scripture in an inverse way. If you do not, let's see, how do you read that inversely? I was going to say, man, I forgot how I was going to say it. But I was still thinking of the point, the importance of holding your shalom. And Bakir Lou touched on verse 13. I also kind of had that in my mind too. A talebearer reveals secrets, but he is of a faithful ruach, conceals a matter. I really think that's about covering one another. When somebody comes to you and they tell you those intimate details, you mentioned this before, especially like in relationships. Most men are going to confide in if your husband confides in you, it's extremely important for you to protect that. That is not something you want to be talking to all your girlfriends about. That is not. And vice versa. It works vice versa too, but typically it says, oh man, I just forgot it says it, but it talks about how the heart of her east trusts in her, attacks her. I think it's around Proverbs 31, I believe. But if you're able to really cover and hold what your each tells you, man, that's a huge deal. Revealing secrets, that's a tough one, man. That's really hard to recover from. Even if it was on accident. I think if it's on accident, then people, most people are like, yeah, okay, I get you, I understand. But man, that's a hard thing to recover from. All right, let me wrap this up because I don't want to walk through the whole chapter. But the whole chapter was through. So let me touch on oh man, okay. I ain't gonna do that one. All right, let's do all right, let's do 22. As a ring of gold in a swine's snout, so is a lovely woman who lacks discretion. Sons, listen. A ring of gold in a pig's nose is a lovely woman who lacks discretion. Let me look at this word for discretion real quick. I think I know what it is. No. So when you look at the word for discretion, the Brown Drivers Briggs, let's say, it's ta'am. It is ta'am. It says taste judgment, lacks the decision through decision making. Going down to the Strongs, it says properly a taste, that is perception, by implication, intelligence, a mandate, advice, behavior, decree. So basically, it's kind of what I thought. It's somebody who has the ability to make a piece of this is somebody who has the ability to make through decisions, to understand this, to understand what's going on. Sons, if you listen, man, it is of no thoob for you to marry a beautiful woman who lacks discretion, who cannot understand the things that are going on, who cannot discern. Discernment is huge. Who cannot discern the time. So just keep that in mind. I'm not gonna go too long on that, but so skip down to verse 29. It says, "He who troubles his own house will inherit the wind, and the fool will be servant to the wise of heart." I'm curious as what this inherit the wind means. This first part, I gotta think through that a little bit. He who troubles his own house will inherit the wind. My first thought is it means you'll inherit nothing. Because in Ecclesiastes, it talks about how a lot of things in life can be like chasing after the wind. It can be vanity. So you'll inherit nothing. I think that's what that might mean if you're troubling your own house, which is not through to do. Your house is supposed to be the reproduction of you, basically. In your house, you have Ben, and you have Bat, you have son, you have daughter. Ben is the continuation of the house. Your son is supposed to rise up and really become greater than you in a lot of ways. You should set the starting point for him in the race. The end of my life, the last brick that I lay should be where my son picks up. And then for my daughters, Bat, that's the sign of the house. So they should take the mentality. They should use discernment. They'll have a great level of discretion. And then they'll go on and they'll build houses for their husbands. I'm pretty sure that's what that first part means. But this is the last part here. In the fool, servant to the wise of heart. I've been telling my sons this, how, man, you got to make sure that you're reading more. This goes back to what you were talking about last chapter, Mushal, about, man, being lazy, sitting around playing video games all day. Yo, everything that you're going to need for life is going, let me not say it that strongly. The majority of things that you're going to need in life will be found in books. Daniel and his 3 friends, when they went to Babylon, it says that they were masters of Sepharim, masters of books. They were able to digest, learn, and understand things. And I tell them something similar to this last section here in 29, that he who, how did Moses give me that? He who will not read is a slave to he who does. Because if you have somebody and they're studying, they're reading, they're seeking understanding, they're seeking knowledge, they're seeking wisdom, man, they'll be able to tell you anything. So you want to make sure, sons, that you're not, and this is daughters too, it ain't just sons, but this is, I usually be talking to the sons about this stuff. You want to make sure that you're applying yourself. Don't be a fool. Don't be foolish, because the foolish will be servant to the wise in heart. The Hebrew concept for heart is really your thoughts. So those who think and process things with wisdom, these are the people who will rule over the earth. Also there's some humility and things like that. But man, I think you asked me what stood out to me, and then I just wound up talking about the whole chapter. But the chapter was through. I was waiting on you to bring it out, Mushal, because and the way you brought out 10 was through. So, but yeah, that's what I had on that.
Man, nah, that's through. Yeah, you brought it out. You went in. That was powerful. I'll praise to the Most High. Nah, that's it right there. That's it. I will just add about the talebearing. The you and Bakir Aloof had brought that out. Verse 13, a talebearer reveals secrets, but he who is of a faithful spirit conceals the matter. So in church, it was this word that was used a lot called, it was gossiping. Yeah, don't be gossiping. Don't be gossiping. Gossiping, it's a sin. You know, you're not supposed to gossip. You're not supposed to gossip. And that was a term that was used a lot growing up, and I thought it was in the Bible. I did. Because my understanding, at least, gossiping means talking about folks. Talking about people behind their back. Oh, you gossiping. That's a sin, you know. And that term it's just not in the scriptures. It's not really in the scriptures. I mean, the closest you can get to that is talebearing. That's the closest I found. There's another word, or slander maybe, something like that. But slander is when you're talking about somebody behind that you're lying on somebody, that you're talking about somebody behind their back, and it's not the truth. It's just important to really, really divide the scriptures and really understand. Like, is it sin to talk about someone when they're not there, and everything you're saying is true? You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that it's stupid to do that, but I just remember, in the church, how that was looked at. Like, man, you would have thought that was part of the 10 Commandments. You would have thought you would have been able to find that in all 5 books of the Torah, but it's not. That's not really true. The word gospel is not in the scriptures at all. It's about talebearing, which is really about revealing secrets. It's about speaking against somebody, because I really believe, like, when you're a talebearer, the intentions is to destroy that person's character or destroy that person. That's why you reveal the secrets. And man, look, some of y'all may be married to somebody like that. They're a talebearer. They have a talebearing ruach on them. So you'll confide in that person, and you'll confide into them, and you tell them, you'll speak something to that person that was you were speaking to them in confidence. And as soon as y'all get in an argument, oh man, soon as y'all fall off of some sort of argument or fight, you see, and that's why, and that's why when you were young, you used to pee in the bed. That's why you used to pee in the bed. You peed in the bed all the way till you was 13. It's all coming out, and then went and then told it to friends and everybody. Ready to tell it all as soon as you get mad. Something that somebody confided in you in confidence. That is, it's some wickedness in that. It's like talebearing in a sense. So y'all got to be careful who y'all confide in. Y'all got to be careful who y'all confide in, because y'all think it's all through. That's your best friend. And then as soon as y'all fall out, oh man, they ready to air you out because they not faithful like that. It says, but he who is of a faithful spirit conceals a matter. A faithful person, they not gonna do that. Even if you make them mad, even if y'all fall out, they ain't gonna air you out. Y'all saw that. Some of y'all might have saw the little back and forth Elon Musk and Trump. Elon Musk got mad at Trump. He's like, yo, I got something for you. He's in the Epstein files. Oh, really? I'm thinking in my mind, but you always knew that though. I don't know if it's true or not, but he said that though. If it's true, you always knew that. But now you mad, you want to air it out because you mad. You can't never trust nobody who does that, boy. Telling you can't trust nobody that do that. You got a homeboy come up to you because they mad at some other thing. They telling all his deepest secrets. Oh, don't tell that person nothing, because they're going to do you the same way as soon as y'all get in an argument or fall out for some reason. Or he disagree, get mad at you secretly. He disagree with you about something. You don't even know he mad. He got offended because of something you did. You don't even know you done offended him. And now he ready to air you out. He really ain't all that he say he is. Because I know. Because yeah, that ain't through, y'all. That ain't through. You just got to be careful with that. But bearing false witness is a big one. Like I just mentioned, bearing false witness. Saying stuff about somebody that's not true, now that's big. That's totally against Torah. That's totally against Torah. Saying something that's not true about somebody, that's different. All right, y'all, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, though. All praise to the Most High. I see your shoulder, little cracking up. Yeah, I know that's how it is, though. Yeah, everybody knows somebody like that. As soon as they get mad, they gonna air you out, boy. Anything you ever told them, boy, it's gonna come out. The whole world gonna know. see. Brendan Ayami Thetford said the greatest wisdom is the word of Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Mr. L.W. Ringo said timely advice holding back the speech. That's Stu. Ivan Juan Little says 11 verse 4 says the world chasing after wealth and the people are enamored with billionaire status or having six-figure incomes, always talking about what the others should have but not willing to contribute. That's real though. That's real. Mr. L.W. Ringo said dishonest scales is air weight, not potato chips in the bag. I get it. Oh, I get that. That's funny because look, oh man, yeah. When you buy the chips and they fill it with air, so you think it's full. It's a big old bag. Then you open it up, and then the chips literally start halfway down. It's only half. You find out the bag only halfway filled up once you open the bag of chips. Oh, especially if you get the off-brand. Oh man. You open that bag, man, it's full of air. All them chips settle all the way down at the bottom. That's all you got. It's about a third of that bag full. That's that. I could see how that can go under dishonest scale. I could definitely see that. Yeah. But it's basically dishonest scales is basically about not cheating your brother. Dishonest scales also goes back to judging in a way that's not. You judging in a way that's not through, it's not accurate. It's double standards. You expect, let's say you want your wife, let's say you're a husband and you expect your wife to cook and clean and to keep the house clean and to cook and to work. But you don't even want to get a job. That's dishonest scales. You being the head of the house, and like the priest of that home and like the judge in a sense of your house. That's dishonest scales. That's dishonest measures if you putting on that burden on your wife. She to cook and clean and she works. But you don't even want to work. You're not even trying to get a job or nothing. But going hard on your wife about cooking and cleaning and working and paying the bills. That's unjust balances. It's a real thing too, y'all. I know some of y'all like, what? Oh, no, it's a real thing. Some of y'all done been through that before. Or just being hypocritical, you know what I'm saying? Being hypocritical. Getting on somebody about something that you do yourself. Oh yeah, because I gone 2025. It's at an all-time high in 2025. But hypocritical, you getting on somebody about something that you do yourself. How do you do that? That's dishonest scales. That's unjust balances. That's one of the things that Yahusha was getting. That's why one of the things Yahusha was getting hard on the Pharisees about, because they were very hypocritical. They were very judgmental. They would go hard on people when they was doing all kind of stuff themselves. They was just doing it behind closed doors. So people didn't know a lot of the stuff the Pharisees was into. They was adulterous. They was sexually immoral. They did a lot of stuff, but a lot of it was hidden and behind closed doors. I already talked about how they were in bed with Rome. They were sellouts, all that stuff. But in the public, they made it look righteous. That's why, but Yahusha knew everything. Because that's Yahusha. So he had them down. He was like, man, y'all doing all this with the external, but on the inside, y'all are filthy. You know, they call them whitewashed tombs, basically meaning they look all clean on the outside. They look like they righteous on the outside, but they're dead, literally dead on the inside. Whitewashed tombs, I think he called them, something like that. And they were doing all that. They were getting on all these other people for doing that stuff, for being adulterous. They were ready to stone somebody to death for being adulterous when a lot of them was extremely adulterous. How are you going to be like that? When y'all are adulterous. The list goes on and on and on. And then dishonest scales is about how you're doing business with your brothers. You got to be careful and make sure that when you're doing business with your brethren, that you're not cheating them, that you're not overcharging in a way that's unreasonable and unfair, that you're giving them a product that's actually that's stube, that's quality, that's not, that you're not selling your brother something that's trash, and you know it's trash, but you talking it up like it's that thing, it's the next best thing in the world when you know it's trash. That's kind of cheating your neighbor. That's dishonest scales. That's not real leather. That's not real gold. If it's not, you got to be real and say that it's not real leather. Say that it's not real gold and charge accordingly. All right, let's wrap this up. See what else y'all got here. Brendan Naomi Theffer said, pride goeth before destruction, and then haughty ruach before a fall. Come on. Let's see. No, that's real though. Chepsy Bar Yahoo said, that happens to me all the time. I take back things they didn't change. I take back things they did not charge me for. And the workers be like, wow. Then Yahuwah always reward us when we walk in integrity. I have had people pay for groceries out the blue, or the things I take back, or they don't scan. They just give it to me due to my honesty that they don't see often. Man, that's so real. That literally happened to me today. That's really interesting. It was some stuff I was doing, and they didn't charge me for it. You know, I'm like, man, they already gave me the product. But I went on and asked them. I was like, hey, y'all didn't charge me for this. Is that on purpose, or if not, y'all didn't charge me for it. So go ahead and send me that happened today. And they ain't give me no pass though. They're like, oh yeah. We about to send you the invoice. We're gonna send you the invoice to pay. Yeah, like okay, that's the. But yeah, I had to make sure because integrity of heart is very important. And I had to make sure that whatever that is don't offend the Most High by basically stealing, even if it's out of the error of the company or whatever. But yeah, that's a good point, which y'all bringing up surrounding integrity. That's a big one. Yahuwah's child and Yahusha's followers said, beauty for ashes, man. Tried by fire and purification. Come. Ivan Juan Little said the parable about the man who left the field was referring to the southern kingdom. Yahuwah sent prophets, and they were stained or scoffed. He sent Yahusha, and Yahusha was slain. Khan, that's real. That's real. Bakir Ezra Hadassah quoted Matthew 18:21-34. Said the dishonest scales reminds me of the man who was forgiven by the king for a lot and then went out and got mad. And the man who owed him a little, oh yeah, who got mad at the man, who owed him a little. Yeah, that's a Thub example, for real. Yeah, that's a Thub example. That's a Thub example. Let's see. Malaki Hilal said, concert 33 years in. Hallelujah. All praise to the Most High. Yeah. Oh, okay. 33 years married. That's Thub. Yeah, that's Thub. All praise to Yahuwah. Kimberly Lamar Richardson said, my son, sow not upon the furrows of unrighteousness, and thou shalt not reap them sevenfold. Sirach 7:3. Brendan Ayami Thetford said, Isaiah 33:15-16 describes the blessings that await those who live a life of integrity and righteousness. Man. Kimberly Lamar Richardson says, devise not a lie against thy brother, neither do the like to thy friend. I use not to make any manner of lie, for the custom thereof is not through. Sirach 7:12-13. Man. Ari Moshe Israel said, that beam in your own eye. Natanya Smith said, sepulchre. Oh, maybe the whitewash, maybe that's what I was talking about. Okay. But yeah, told out to Yahuwah and Yahusha. I'm going to go ahead and close with prayer. Let's see. All right, Bakir Ezra Hadassah, are you able to close us off?
Sir.
All right, let's get it. Let's see.
Sabi Yahuwah, gracious and merciful you are, Father. Gracious and merciful you are, how through you are, O Yahuwah Alua. There is no one like you, Father. You are excellent in all your ways, O Yahuwah. In you, O Yahuwah, we put our trust, O Yah. For you are through and you are wonderful, Father. We thank you, Sabi Yahuwah, for your word. We thank you for the opportunity to be able to come together in MIDRASH on your word, O Yahuwah. We give you all the esteem, all the kabod, Father, for there is no one like you. We thank you, Sabi Yahuwah, that we're able to look into the minds and the hearts of our ancestors, Sabi Yahuwah. We're able to look into their thoughts, Sabi Yahuwah. We're able to look into the wisdom that you have given to them, that they may worship you and praise you, that they may worship you and praise you with a pure heart. Total Rabbah, Sabi Yahuwah, for you have made us Kodesh unto you, and you have given us your word, Sabi Yahuwah, that our feet may not slip. Oh, Father, you are wonderful. Oh, Father, you are so Thub. Help us, Sabi Yahuwah, to have discernment, oh Yah, to know Thub from Ra, Sabi Yahuwah. For your word says that your eyes are in every place, beholding the Thub and the Ra. And we know, Sabi Yahuwah, that you will teach us. We just need only ask, Sabi Yahuwah, for your wisdom. We thank you, Sabi Yahuwah, that you give us everything that we need. You equip us to be able to walk in righteousness. You have given us the tools of Aruka, of healing, that we may be able to hear you clearly, that we may be able to understand your word, that we may be free from bondage to sin, oh Yahuwah. Toda Rabbah, for our bridegroom, Yahushua HaMashiach, our intercessor, our high priest who stands in the gap for us every single day. There is no one like you, Father. Oh, we thank you for each and every person that is upon this call, Sabi Yahuwah. I ask, Father, that you speak to their hearts, oh Yahuwah. If there be any doubt, any darkness, anything that they're wrestling with, oh Sabi Yahuwah, I pray that you give them the victory in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Oh Father, if there's anyone that's wrestling with tail-bearing, if there's anyone that's wrestling, Sabi Yahuwah, with dishonest scales, if there's anyone that's wrestling, oh Yahuwah, with moving in righteousness, anyone wrestling, Sabi Yahuwah, with self-condemnation, oh Father, I pray that you speak to their hearts and minds even now, oh Yahuwah. Give them assurance and boldness in you. Teach them your words, Sabi Yahuwah. Show them what to meditate on and how to move, that they may be moving in through standing with you, O Yahuwah. Oh Father, may the words of their mouths and the meditations of their heart be pleasing in your sight, O Yahuwah. Those who desire to please you, Sabi Yahuwah. Those who seek to do your will. I pray that you give them a kingdom mindset, O Yahuwah, that they may go forth, Sabi Yahuwah, in honesty and purity. Oh, Father, that they may reveal themselves unto you, Sabi Yahuwah, for you already know what's in a man's heart. You already know what's in our hearts. For man looks at the outward appearance, but you, O Yahuwah, you see the heart. So I pray, Father, that you help each and every person on this call to have integrity of heart, that we may give our burdens to you, Sabi Yahuwah. Oh, Father, that we may see ourselves with a right perspective in relation to your word and your rulings, O Yahuwah, that you may make us clean, tamim, without spot or blemish. Oh, Father, as we go forth with our day, with our night, I pray, Father, that your Ruach HaKodesh go before us. Give us sweet sleep. Give us sweet shalom, Sabi Yahuwah, as we rest, that we may wake up refreshed in the boca, ready to do your will. There's no one like you, Father. We bless you. We thank you, Sabi Yahuwah, for our leadership. We thank you for our covering, Sabi Yahuwah, that we're able to learn and receive from you as a result of being in alignment with your people. Oh, Father, you are great and greatly to be praised. We just bless your name, O Yahuwah. May it be so and may it be established. By Hashem Yahushua HaMashiach. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Man. All praise to the Most High. Told out to Yahu and Yahusha. Most High willing, y'all, we do this again next week. Lakam, La Shalom. Lalatu.
Gotta keep on going. He said you're a temple. Keep that altar smoking. Even when you're broken, gotta keep on going. He said you're a temple. Keep that altar smoking. But even if you're broken, gotta keep on going. He said you're a temple. Keep that altar smoking. Abba, have mercy on us. Abba, have mercy on us. Abba, have mercy on us. Have mercy. Abba, have mercy on us. Have mercy. Abba, have mercy on us. Yeah. Abba, have mercy on us. Abba, have mercy on us. Abba, have mercy on us. All of these mistakes that I made before your face, stand boasting in our flesh, but our spirit looking wasted. Mouth full of bitter, wicked things, can't you taste it? Wanna be better, Abba, can you help us break it? Ratchet people with some evil ways, hopeless first until you come and save. In darkness we was born as a slave. We call on you who wrote through all the age. Have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. We know. Have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. I don't deserve your mercy. I don't deserve your mercy. Have mercy on me. But I don't deserve his mercy. Have mercy on his mercy. Have mercy on his mercy. Have mercy on us. Yeah, have mercy on us.
My words.